Hello and welcome to episode 4 of How to Write a Short Film with me, Anthony Hett, the film coach. Today I'm going to be discussing the advantages of writing a script with just 2 characters and 1 location. The first reason I think it's a good idea, especially as a new writer, maybe a first time filmmaker, to write a script that has just 2 characters and 1 location is because it's actually quite a challenge. And so doing so will hopefully help you to improve your writing. The reason I say this is because if you write a script with multiple characters and multiple locations, then it's a little bit easier to add in the drama, to add in the action, the interactions between characters, to add in lots of different conflicts. And this all helps to keep the audience engaged. And it's a lot harder to do that when you've just got the same 2 people in 1 location. So challenge yourself, write a script with 2 characters and 1 location and see how you get on. The second reason that I think it's a really good idea to write this simpler script with 2 characters and 1 location, and I say simpler as in simpler to make, not necessarily, as I said, to write. But I think it's really important that when you're starting out and you're making your first or maybe second, third short film, then it's a really good idea to write scripts that you know that you can make. And you can make them on a budget with a small cast and a small crew. And it's going to make things a lot more easy when you come to that part of the process. If you write a film with multiple characters, let's say you've got 10 characters and 14 locations, then that's going to be a bit of a logistical nightmare. And also, it's going to really impact on your budget. So, let's take the casting process for example. If you're trying to cast for 10 actors, you're going to have to do the process 10 times. That's going to take up a lot of time, a lot of energy, and if you're paying for an audition space, then that's going to start adding up as well. However, if you're casting just for 2 actors, that's going to be a lot easier, and you should be able to do it maybe just across 1 weekend. The same for when you're looking for locations. If you're looking for just 1 perfect location, you've got a much better chance of finding the location that you want, and also you might be able to get it for free. Whereas if you're looking for 14 different locations, then there's lots of different problems with that. First of all, you've got to find 14 locations that you're happy with, that you think are the right fit for your script. Also, how many of those locations are you going to be able to find for free? It's going to be a lot of hard work negotiating with people to get them for nothing or for next to nothing. And if you can't, then you start paying for locations, and then that starts impacting the budget and you've got less money for other parts of the production. Also, it can be a bit of a logistical nightmare because you've got to move your cast and your crew and your equipment between different locations. So that's going to start making the shoot longer. If you make a film with just 2 characters and 1 location, then you should be able to film that in just 1 day, maybe a day and a half, 2 days max. But if you've got multiple locations, and especially if those locations aren't really close together, then that's going to start making the shoot 2, 3, 4, 5 days and maybe even longer. And that's going to be a problem because everything you have to pay for, then if you're paying for it for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, obviously that's getting more and more expensive. If you've got a camera and you rent it for £200 for 1 day, then that could be £500, £600, £700, £800. How much are you paying for a week? The same with the cast and the crew, but not just also paying them, but if you're making this film on a budget, then what are you paying the cast and crew? Are you paying them expenses, a small fee? Are you getting them to do it for a favour? Now that's fine for 1 day or 2 days, but if you're trying to get them for a full week, then that might be very difficult because those cast and crew might get offered paid work. And it's going to be difficult for them to do your job and to finish your job off and to say no to the paid work. And you've got to understand that this is their job and that they need to be paid, and they do understand that you might not have much of a budget, so they might do it for you for free for a day. But asking someone to work for free for 4, 5, 6 days or more, then that's a very difficult situation. Also, you've got to think, if you've got multiple locations, you've got to get from one to the other, then you've got to start thinking about renting vans or taxis, or maybe asking the cast and crew to use their cars to move around, and then maybe paying them for their petrol. So there's lots of different issues and problems that you'll face by stretching it over many days, and by affecting the budget and having less money for post-production or for advertising, sending to festivals, because you've got to think about this as well. But we're talking about the writing. I'm going to make videos about making a short film, and I'm going to go into all these different topics and subjects in a lot more depth. But when you are writing, you do have to kind of think of these things. Try and write a film that is going to be easy for you, or it's never going to be easy, but write a film that's going to be as simple as possible to make. So I'd really highly recommend, especially if you're a first-time filmmaker and you're writing a script that you're going to make yourself, try and write a script with just 2 characters and 1 location. I've made a trilogy of short films. My first film, Letters, was made in 1 main location. We filmed in a house for 1 day with 2 actors, and then on the second day, for a couple of hours in the morning, we took one of the actors and we filmed outside on a street. So that was essentially kind of 2 locations and 2 actors. My second film, Waiting, was 1 main actor and I had 2 supporting actors, and we filmed that in the house where I was living at the time, so that was free, and then also on the street. So that was kind of like 1 main, 3 actors in total with 2 locations. And then my third film, Scrabble, was 1 location inside of a laundrette. We only saw the main room of the laundrette. We didn't even go into the back room or anything like that. So it was just 1 location, 2 main actors, and then I had 2 supporting actors as well. So I haven't stuck strictly to the 2 actors, 1 location rule, but I have been pretty close with kind of 1 or 2 locations max, 3 or 4 actors in total. I'm working on a couple more scripts at the moment, and I'm building up to a script that I'm writing, and I'll hopefully be shooting at some point soon, which is a story about 2 young boys and a dog. There's a supporting cast and there's multiple locations. It's more ambitious, it's going to take a bigger budget, a bigger crew, and that's going to be a challenge, but I feel like I've worked my way up by working on these simpler films to working on that bigger budget one. So if you've got that idea that's got multiple characters, multiple locations, it could be a sci-fi set in space, you need a spaceship and you need costumes and VFX and all these things that will come with that. Maybe that's not your first short film. If you make that on a budget, then maybe that's going to end up looking cheap and not very professional. It's going to be easier to make a professional looking film with just 2 characters and 1 location. So if you do have that ambitious idea, by all means write it, but maybe put it to one side and don't make it just yet. So those are my thoughts on the advantages of writing a script with just 2 characters and 1 location. I hope you give it a try and I hope it's helpful for you. If this video was helpful, then please give it a like. Mention down in the comments what you thought. Maybe you've made a short film or written a script with 2 characters and 1 location. Was it a challenge? What did you think? Or maybe you jumped in at the deep end and your first short film had multiple characters and multiple locations. Let me know in the comments how that went. I hope it went well, but I'm sure it was probably quite difficult. And then if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and you'll get notifications for my upcoming videos. My next video will be on the subject of naming your scripts, because all scripts need a name. So please do like, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon for another video.